It's 9:18 on the 9th of June, and hopefully this is my third upload. This is hopefully the only point that I have to make for the interest of local authorities that are facilitating crime in this community for the past 20 years. Um, I am bringing it to the attention of any frauds that are disrespecting the departments of housing or agriculture. As a farm manager, farm holder, it's a little bit unusual that local bodies that have seen the repercussions of assisting crimes against my name, most notably, I'll bring it to the attention of the Limerick County Council and the Kerry County Council. Um, you're aware of the legislation that has come from me, and I'm concerned about any disinformation or inaccurate or infactual information that either of these bodies would be working with against a property owner of 600 plus acres. There's a very dangerous crime after being resolved in this community as a consequence of my recovery advocacy. So I hope that the frauds that have been of financial racketeering and so on and so forth, those that have been stealing wealth from me since 2006 and that are now on farm holdings, that are guilty of trespass, which is a punishable offence. I have to keep reiterating it. The Department of Justice, you're aware of the circumstances that have occurred in County Kerry as a consequence of my recovery advocacy. I'm in short-term accommodation as a consequence of farm crimes on my farms in Ardfert and Kilflyn. This is short-term accommodation since 2019, and this accommodation has incurred damages to my bodily integrity that have also been of spiritual offence, such as blasphemy and profanity, at this current address where I'm staying. There have been people practicing outside the laws of Wicca, the commandments, and the tenets of Protestantism, and they have not respected Islam either. So I really hope with the reprimand and the repercussion that has been instilled in the culprits that have been brought to heed since my child was illegally separated from me in 2017. Since 2017, a lot has come to the fore. It's been realised what a lot of people were doing that was from other people's pockets. Now, that cycle of fraud is continuing again by a new set, a new clique. And it's happened here at this current address, Rock Street, and it's been in my farm holdings in Ardfert and Kilflyn as well, where there has been reported crimes against my family name, McElligott, and the home of my child and I. So there are people confusing themselves with addresses that they don't own, that they haven't ever owned, and that they don't belong to. So people that are confusing themselves and their names and addresses, that's called fraudulence. And as long as the authorities are supporting more fraudulence, then there's a problem. There's an issue with people walking into other people's homes and assuming that they're at home when they're trespassing and committing a punishable offence. So, Europe, there's an issue being caused in County Kerry that's more of the same problem that has been resolved already as a consequence of my recovery advocacy. Authorities have not contacted or communicated courteously in line with Royal Protocol. As I've said, the damages have to be compensated for. The voodoo that's been going on in this community is unsafe for people. There have been people practicing outside of Wicca laws, and they've disrespected the commandments and they've disrespected Protestantism and Islam. and I'm a recovery advocate representative of all faiths. I'm an educator, humanitarian, right? So this is just an update with regard to my hierarchy of needs and Asbos, the filth of society, spending money they don't own and embarrassing themselves in the media, spinning stories that aren't real to life and walking into people's homes where they're not safe and hurting innocent child's lives. So as long as these mental illnesses of Asbos are supported, then I hope people know the dangers of offending COVID-19 protocol. I have a hierarchy of needs and it's not being respected, and legislation from me then therefore is not safe. So I hope there isn't any female politician thinking it's safe to piggyback on my professional portfolio or to offend my royal family. I hope there isn't any female politician thinking this is a walk in the park, a free lunch kind of a situation. It's a sad sign of the times, but this is what I'm contending with as a recovery advocate. This is what has happened as a humanitarian to my experience due to hate crime. So the people that are not respecting Maslow are Eamon de Valera and his constitution. I hope they're aware of the burden, the cross that they're carrying. Trespassing, intruding, slandering, defaming, stealing, etc., from a mother and child. Europe, you are required. Interpol, you are required. I don't think these people have realised that they have lost their seats. They've been struck from their positions automatically due to their demeanours, misdemeanours, that their crimes against the state have compromised their seats. And that's serious when people aren't working with real facts. So the state debt I'm owed, the issue of my hierarchy of needs, the damages that these offences have caused me. I have injuries, fractures that I'm healing successfully, and my abode doesn't even have that, like it hasn't even the equipment or facilities to help me maneuver successfully, ergonomically, or this isn't a healthy arrangement. My flooring is linoleum. That's really unsafe for anyone with a fractured hip or shoulder. So these people that don't know how to do their jobs properly, doctors have already hurt their positions with their Hippocratic oath. They've automatically struck themselves off offending the Hippocratic oath. So that's serious. And the field of education that I represented as an educator, that's been offended as well. It's really serious. So I hope there isn't anyone thinking that doctors that are damaged and that have been damaging are safe with offending my input and origins with COVID-19 legislation. It's really unsafe to work with unreliable facts or information, and people that can't provide or do what they're obligated to do, that incurs more casualties and consequence. So my advocacy has been of crime prevention. It saved people's lives. So I hope there isn't anyone thinking it's safe to offend my child and die. It's a sad sight at the times when people are in trouble with faith. The church. They've offended the church. That's dangerous. And they've offended the Constitution. So everyone be really careful on the right side of the law. There are people that aren't safe chit-chatting about the social reform from me and offending my good name and my family. So if the European Union wouldn't mind contacting me directly, I'm awaiting urgent assistance to locate my son. My child is only 8 years of age, and there are Asbos up in Dublin thinking they're above the law and thinking they're safe withholding from me, my child that I gave birth to in 2015 while walking onto my property. That kind of mentality is a mental illness. Those kind of people need to treat their distorted perception of society because they've already damaged people's innocent lives. So if this continues, there's going to be more of the same as there has been already. We've already seen what their problems have caused. So Europe, you're on call and you're in Southwest Ireland. It's urgent. There are people not qualified to be discussing my royal patronage legislation 2019 or my farm holdings. It's not up for discussion. They're all punishable offences. Punishable offences occur when the law is being disrespected, and the law has already been disrespected. So anyone breaking the law is going to be punished. Sad